What's up, guys? Mason the Rock Henderson here, and this is actually the Thursday night lineup. On Monday, I've been very busy recently, so finally got a chance to actually sit down and watch them and watch all three shows that I have. Uh, so this is the first of those three, DC's Legends of Tomorrow. This is the fourth episode, White Knights. Now, going into this, still didn't really know exactly what the show wanted to do, because it could do anything it wanted. It could be, going and stopping Vandal Savage in different times, going back in time, going forward in time, doing all of these different things to stop him from taking over the world. And really wasn't sure exactly how they were going to do it. How are you going to do every episode? Are you going to have them stopping him here, and then here, and then here, episode after episode? Or are you going to have more of a running storyline as they go to this, they were just in 1970 something, they stopped him there, now they're forward in 1980, are they going to take a few episodes to stop him here? What exactly are you going to do? I'm still not sure. And at first I was kind of like, why couldn't you be a bit more like, why couldn't you be more clear cut on what you're going to do? But honestly, I don't mind that I don't know exactly what they're going to do. I like the fact that they're still, it's almost like they're trying to figure it out themselves. They're trying to figure out exactly which direction they want to take this. And obviously, they've already filmed most of this season, obviously, but it looks like they started off saying, alright, we're just going to build up some of the story. We're going to have them back in time, stopping Vandal Savage, dealing with some of the people that Vandal Savage has around him. It's a very interesting turn to take, and I really do enjoy this episode because of that. It ends on a bit of a cliffhanger, but it doesn't feel like a cliffhanger. It feels more like, alright, so this is what happened in this episode, and it's going to carry over to the next episode, and we're going to solve the problem over there too. I like that. I like that they're not just straightforward, okay, yeah, this is an episode by episode basis, or this is definitely going to be a running storyline. It kind of feels like a little bit of both, because it's a running storyline with different stuff happening between some characters in every episode. And this one, like I said before, they do this thing where they break off. When you have such a huge cast of main characters, it's kind of hard to have them all in every shot. So they kind of break them off and have them interacting between each other. And, it's okay for now, but I hope they don't continue that all the way through. I would like to see them stop at some point. But for now, while you're building character and you're building the relationships between these characters, I don't mind seeing it. In this one, kind of the side story, you've got Sarah and Kendra. Kendra has like this little freak out at the beginning of the episode. And so the irony and the compare and contrast between them was not lost on me, even though it was on them until later on. You've got Sarah, who has already released this inner monster inside of her, and she's trying to learn how to balance it out so she's not totally this monster. Now she's learning how to quell it a bit and find this human side of her, whereas Kendra just discovered that she has a monster inside of her, and she needs to learn how to use that to her advantage, without totally losing control over it. So, like I said, I could see what they were doing there from the beginning, and Rip Hunter, Rip Hunter even explains that to Kendra. Like, I felt like you two could teach each other. So, seeing them interact was a good choice, and still not completely 100% resolved yet, but they are working on it, which is nice to see. And then everybody else kind of works together a little bit throughout the entire episode. You've got one main plot line is you've got Jax and Martin, and they're clashing a lot because he's tired of hearing him in his head every time he's using his powers. I'm the one putting my body on the line, blah blah blah. So they've been discussing this before. It's kind of drawing to a head right now. So that's kind of what's going on in this episode. And you know that there's going to be a moment where Martin realizes, okay, yeah, the kid's right. He's always putting himself on the line. Now it's my turn. And don't want to say it's predictable, because most of it is not. Most of this episode is not that predictable. But there are moments that are kind of predictable. Like with this whole fight between Martin and Jax, I kind of see where it's going. I'm just like, yeah, I see the dilemma they're building up. I see the conflict that they're building up, and I kind of see how this episode is going to take this conflict and use it. And they do pretty much exactly what I was thinking. Martin's gonna step up and say, "Now it's my turn to take the load." Blah blah blah. You've got Adam and I think his last name is Snark, I believe. I'm gonna look it up this time because I keep getting his name is the one I can't remember. Like I remember Mick Rory, and I remember pretty much everybody else. Raymond is the Adam. I finally got most of the names down, but for some reason, I know it's Captain Cold is, yeah, Leonard Snart. They're working together to kind of woo this woman who's working with Savage, and the whole time I'm just kind of thinking, do you really think that she's oblivious to what Savage is doing? And I keep talking about predictability. I didn't predict this, but at the same time I was kind of wondering, I don't think she's 100% innocent. I don't think she is oblivious to what's going on. And they're treating her like she is. And I'm just like, are you guys sure about this? Are you sure that she's just an innocent bystander? And later on, when they're kind of getting ready to shut down the facility and take it out, she shows up. And Raymond's just like, we gotta get her out of here. And of course, Snart's just like, no, we gotta focus on the mission. Forget about her. But because he's such a good guy, I guess, I don't know why he's so focused on saving her. Like, even at the beginning, like, Snart was just like, we need to just put 2 bullets in the back of her head. He's like, well, she could be innocent. I'm just like, why would you work with a guy like Vandal Savage if you were an innocent person? Like, don't get me wrong, he could probably change himself and pretend to be like a good guy and convince people to work for him even though they're not good. But at the same time, I'm like, you'd have to be stupid not to see that something's up with this guy. And so the only reason you'd want to work with him is if you were not exactly a good person yourself. Which is shown throughout the episode. Like, Raymond tries to win her over and she just blows him off twice, and then Snart steps in and picks her up. I'm just like, see, she's not exactly a good person. Why are we so focused on her right now? Why are you... I don't know. It was just sort of weird, and it seemed like he needed a better reason than to just be like, oh yeah, we need to save... Why? You don't have a good reason. Is it because she's pretty? Is that why? Come on, Raymond. Wake up. Anyway, so they're working together on that. You've got this bounty hunter, the Kronos, is chasing after him again at the beginning, which, by the way, brilliant opening start, to have him show up chasing them, and then all of a sudden they uncloak themselves, so the Soviet Union sends people, like fighter jets, to take them out, and then they use that to take out Kronos' ship. It was a brilliant opening sequence. But you have him dealing with that, and then they find out that Kronos is out there, and so Hunter takes Mick Rory with him to sort of take on Kronos and take him out so that he'll stop chasing them. When he gets there, he finds this guy, another Time Master, who offers him to come back. He just has, give up your team, we'll set everything back to as best we can. And the whole time I'm just thinking, no, don't do it. And he's kind of considering it, but at the same time he's just like, I don't trust these people. And Rory is just like, that's a nice offer your friend made, but you realize he's just going to kill you. And so, going through that, I'm just, that one was pretty straightforward. Like, even the characters knew what was going on. But it does end in a pretty clever way. You've got, he shows up, and you kind of can guess what happens next. They've got Kronos still, and he's got a gun to the back of his head, and they start talking about, oh, if you only brought your team, now you're just going to die alone. He's like, I'm not alone. And you're just like, oh, really? I had no idea. And then the team shows up. Well, Firestorm and Rory show up, and they do save him. Uh, so it was okay. It was a little bit of a detour, but it does forward the story of Jax and Martin not getting along more, uh, which leads to ultimately the final battle in this, where Martin decides to go off on his own with the Atom and Snart to get this whatever it was, some sort of core of some sort that they needed, and they realized that Savage saw him in a past, like in the past, and now wants to create a firestorm for Russia. Which here's the one thing that I'm kind of stuck on, like thinking, if they don't stop him, like they've already checked the timeline after what happened in 1970 something, and Gideon already said the timeline is fine. So it kind of makes me wonder if he does succeed in creating this firestorm for Russia, how come it's not showing up in the timeline? So once again, I'm asking myself, what if all of this is supposed to happen? What if all of this is just, this is what's supposed to happen? You guys are supposed to show up and stop him because it's already happened. The timeline is already set. So he's not going to succeed in creating a Russian firestorm and taking over the... Like, I don't know. What if this all is just leading up to, oh yeah, this is all going to happen anyway? That would be... I just recently played a game where that was pretty much the whole story. Like, you go through and you're changing time and you're trying to save people, and in the end it's just like, no, all of it is supposed to happen. You're supposed to let the person you're trying to save die. I was just like, that's freaking depressing. I'm still dealing with that emotionally, and it's been like a week since I last... No. Yeah, it's been about a week since I finished the game, and I'm still thinking about it, just like, that's depressing. So if that's what this show is building towards, that is one depressing ending to build towards. That even though Rip Hunter did all this to try and save his family from Vandal Savage, they end up not being able to stop him anyway, and he ends up taking over the future anyway, because that's just how it's supposed to happen, and it's always how it will happen, because they've tried to stop it before and it didn't work. It's kind of a scary thought to think about, at least from our hero's point of view. So, like I said, they're trying to build a Russian firestorm. You've got Martin, like I said earlier, stepping up, and then you've got Jax kind of doing the typical cliche thing of, no, you don't have to do this, even though they were just fighting about that earlier. But like I said, it kind of ends on a little bit of a, not a cliffhanger, but this is a problem for the next episode. These Russian people, like the woman working for Savage, she is clearly a bad guy as well. But apparently they either knew they were coming, or they had a plan in place just in case somebody tried something. But they end up capturing Raymond the Atom. Martin is able to absorb the radiation out of the core that they're using to try to create these Russian firestorms. But that leaves him really weak, so they capture him. But I guess the core is useless now, because they leave it. Either way, Leonard is about to be shot in the back of the head, but then Rory shows up to save him. And all these guys are just taking on Rory, and I'm just like, dude, are they about to kill off another character? But they don't. He takes a beating while Snart decides, has to decide, do I stay here and try to save my friend, or do I focus on the mission? Well, Hunter convinces him, you have to focus on the mission. So he ends up getting the core and getting out. And obviously he's upset by the fact that, look, we can't just leave these people behind. Even as criminal, I have a code. And so it's kind of setting up for, like I said, next episode. They're all captured. These three characters are captured now by these Russian people, and Savage is behind, the one running all of this. So it's kind of like, what's going to happen next? Where are they taking this next? And I like that. I like the fact that they're not just here's the story for this episode, here's the story for this episode, here's the story for this. They're not doing that. They're kind of keeping me guessing on what's going to happen next. What are they going to do next? How are they going to handle this whole story? Because there are many clever ways to take it. And right now they're doing one way that I like. So hopefully it continues to impress and keep my interest. And hopefully things do change a bit too. Because I can just imagine what's going on right now continuing for a while. And if it continues like this, I can see myself getting bored of it pretty fast. Like seeing the same thing week after week. I could see it getting old pretty fast. So hopefully they fix it. We'll see what they do. But so far, it's good. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. Leave a like and subscribe for more Legends of Tomorrow. And hopefully I'll be able to watch it on time and get the review out Thursday. We'll see. Anyway, I'll see you guys at the next review. Peace out.